The Chester Oakland School District is committed to investing in sustainability education as we recognize its immense value and potential. We eagerly look forward to further investments and support from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture as we continue to nurture and expand these educational opportunities for all of our students, as well as our stakeholders in the community. Once again, I'm extending a heartfelt welcome to our Secretary Russell, Secretary of Agriculture, and his team. Your presence here today is a testament to our shared commitment to the betterment of our community and the success for all of our students. Together, let's embark on this journey towards a brighter and much sustainable future for our children. Thank you so much.
So what we'd like to do is...
I'm gonna... Yes. Can I introduce you? Thank you.
Time out, right?
Yeah, that's right. See, we need to give you all your props and all your love and all your respect. I would say that it is truly my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jay McGrain, who is the founder of Thank You Grow Solutions. Again, we would not be here this morning had it not been for the vision of Dr. Green. She could have gone anywhere. She could have taken this amazing opportunity to many school districts, but she chose the Chester Oakland School District, and truly, prayers and all the other great things that come along with trying to make sure things are taken care of for students. The fact that she arrived in this community on that day to say, Dr. Parkinson, I have a plan, how we can make some amazing things happen for your children. Dr. Green, I don't know if you realize how much you are changing the trajectory in the lives of these children in this community, but also the families, and just the fact that you are here and all the things that you've done for us already, and the things that we're going to do in the future. I wanted to just give you your honor and just welcome you to the podium to say some comments, but I just want to sincerely say how much we appreciate you, thank you, and love you. Thank you so much.
It takes a strong leader to make a decision that they're going to be vulnerable enough to allow a stranger to walk into their space with this little vision that food, energy, and water might be a way to use that to repurpose this saying that I love about Chester. Chester makes Chester. So I've been here 18 months and I know that saying, but I want to show you first the way I train. I start with the end in mind and then reverse engineer. And I'll show you what we did, because my friend here who's exceptional at IT is going to get us to see a video. Can you hear?
We are currently at Chester High School, and we are in the agricultural lab on the first floor. There are some amazing students, and they just need a loving teacher and a loving place that will expose them to opportunities that will make sure that they stay on this successful path. So one of my missions is to ensure that the students that I teach that are Black and brown are exposed to STEM. The Exelon Green Grant allows them to be exposed to things that they wouldn't normally see. You're going to look at one of these spaces and they're going to discover something that we all need and we all need to use, and it's going to be due to this grant.
We were able to build a facility here that has numerous stations to introduce young people to technologies used in agriculture. In this lab, there are very specific stations. The most important station is the hydroponic station to learn how to grow. We also have a food preservation station, and inside a food preservation station, we'll have a dehydrator, we'll have a freeze dryer. Another station we have here that's equally important is our 3D printing. The support from the Exelon Foundation has helped our company work with this school district, Chester Oakland School District, to start to build an urban agriculture campus here. The funding is critical, and it allows us to build a relationship in our PICO territory that has future mentors, collaborations, more exposures for the students, particularly, again, in the world of energy. We're happy to work with PICO and Exelon and look forward to continued collaboration.
So that just came, but I wanted to share with Secretary Reddy. And I want to thank Dr. Parkinson, Beyond Imagination, AP Brown, who made this thing really happen, by Ms. Lewis. I want to share with all of you that we are recipients of Pennsylvania Urban Ag Lab grants. We're two-time recipients. What we've done in Chester is actually a continuation of the work that we built on a smaller scale in North Philadelphia. This is 3 times the size of what we built. This is our 5th build out of a facility to train people of color, really, in food, energy, and water. My name is Jamie Gracie Green. My mini-me is Narelle Gracie. My daughter, Naima Op Gracie, is out in the containers. It took us 4 generations. It took COVID for 4 generations to come together. This is a family-owned farm. What you're going to see is a USDA recognized farm. What people do not understand is it looks like a training facility, and it is, but it's also a USDA farm that we use to generate revenue for ourselves and our family and for her future. I don't have a lot of comments to say because really what I want to do is give you the run of show. And the run of show in my world in events says that we're going to say hi to each other. Darren, it's good to see you. Lisa Gaffney, thank you for coming. Many of you I don't know. I hope to get to know my favorite photographer friend, my friend from the Minority Business Development environment. Lindell is here. And my team. I can't even move a step further without introducing my collaborators. Next to Narelle, who's going to look more energetic in a minute, is my partner, the wind beneath my wings, the person who just says, okay, if you say it, you can do it. Mark Green is the Chief Operating Officer and the co-founder of Thinking Grow. We founded this together during COVID. He introduced himself to me as a boxer. I didn't know he was an engineer. I wanted the boxer, okay? The other stuff will come later. Next to him, I'm gonna actually skip over my adoptive father and go to our ace collaborator, Mr. Edward O'Neill Lamb, the CEO of Eastern Hemp and the Baltic Group. It is together in collaboration that we received these urban agriculture grants. We started in Jenkintown. I think you'll see that in the write-up. That lease ran out. We were going to move to Philly, and we were actually looking at York to move to. And we decided, well, let's come to Chester because James Turner said, no, you need to come to Chester. I didn't know Chester because Jim Turner said Chester. As many of you know, when Jim Turner says something, you just go with it, right? And we came, and this amazingly new superintendent said, wow, that's a great idea. Agriculture. And I said, well, sustainability. Because you have to have, you can't do urban agriculture without energy, which you're going to see, and you certainly can't do it without water. So we're about water conservation, we're about energy, so all of the disciplines that are available, you're going to see in the indoor lab. And the second grant that we received, Secretary Redding, was to create outdoor facilities. So the indoor lab is for the students, K-12 here in Chester. For those after-school programs or community groups who want to have workshops of their own, and we don't necessarily want to have them inside where the children are, we're going to have a place for them outside in our learning labs that are mobile learning labs, right? You can move those shipping containers. We want you to understand that our motto is renew, repurpose, re-engineer. A lot of what we've done, we've stretched every dollar. From my father's from the Caribbean, so we say we don't spend a bad dollar. So we moved the value of what it would have cost to put this in a space like this is easily $500,000. We did that on $100,000. I want you to understand the magnitude of what is required to bring these opportunities in. We have leveraged the money from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture into the Ag Lab grant from Exelon that you just saw. That allowed us to pay those students on performance, not just because they showed up, but because they delivered a product, a prototype, a presentation, and attendance. And their investment ranged from $300 to $1,000 each on performance. That's if you're a farmer, as I know Secretary Redding is, a dairy farmer. We're an urban farmer, and the relationship between urban and rural is going to be made clearer. There's no such thing as agriculture without those two pieces together. Crops are for eating, crops are for manufacturing. You're going to see both the arenas when we take you through. So again, we're going to see inside first, and we're going to come outside. And so I want to bring Mark to the podium. that he and O'Neill give you their impressions of what it's like to bring this into an education environment? That's a lot. It's a lot. So, Mark, you can come next.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Secretary Reddy, Mr. Jim Turner, Dr. Parkinson, other guests, and Mr. Bradley. Thank you all for being here. I'm Mark Green, Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Lincoln Growth Solutions. Dr. Green covered a lot of what we've done. We started this business venture in 2019. I am a structural engineer by training and a certified professional project management professional. So I manage multi-million-dollar projects. My wife came home and said agriculture. I thought it was a buzzword. So I said, okay, I'll go with it. I started thinking maybe a nursery, maybe some produce or something, and she let it go after a week or two. No. No. We're still at it. I'm very, very happy that we did do this. What we did as our company grew, even with the introduction of COVID, is that we had a chance to have 4 generations of our family work on building an indoor facility. I learned more about PVC and saving money than I ever thought I would. But while we were doing this, we were focused on the nexus of food, energy, and water. And being born and raised in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I know that the Commonwealth is a place where agriculture is huge. We're a state that has its own Department of Ag out of 50 states, and it's been a staple for years and years and years. One of the things that I realized is that post-World War II, there was a lot of manufacturing here in the Commonwealth. A lot of locally sourced manufacturing, shipbuilding in Chester, Philadelphia, and a lot of these processes help with making life a lot easier for people, but it was also somewhat destructive to the planet. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but we didn't have the DEP, EPA, or OSHA. We do now, and what we have to do currently, I feel personally responsible for when I look at Monroe and people, the generation below us, is that we have to do something to treat this planet a little better. And we see things, and the food, energy, and water nexus is something that I'm passionate about, because without food, there's no us. Energy, we've been wasting a lot of it. And what I like about these recirculating systems and the systems that you'll see on the tour here is that we don't waste a lot of water. We recycle and repurpose items. For instance, the 2 labs that we have outside with 40-foot shipping containers. They were probably on barges and ports in all 7 continents. About a year and a half ago, there were a couple of cargo ships stuck in the Panama Canal. And then everybody we talked to says, well, this was such a bottleneck that it impacted everything that we did, right? Anytime you get something sent to you. So every time you call someone and say, hey, you're a little bit behind schedule with delivering this package to me, we have this new word, this new phrase. It's supply chain. It's not supply chain. But that's, these shipping containers have a purpose for life for about 40 years. And they can't dissolve because they're steel. So we took them, converted them, and made them indoor learning labs. And what you want to see with this successful partnership, public-private partnership with the Chester Upland School District, the support of the Pennsylvania Department of Ag, and other contributors, along with Lincoln Growth Solutions, is that we're trying to find ways to get the best value out of existing materials and existing skills to keep people eating healthy foods for a lifetime to come. One of the things we have to do is combat a lot of the food deserts and food insecurity throughout the urban areas. And I was born and raised in Philadelphia, so I'm familiar with a lot of those struggles. And I think that if we teach people how to farm responsibly and feed themselves, it's just like the old adage: if you give them how to fish, you'll eat for the night. If you teach them how to fish, you'll eat forever. We're trying to prepare young people with the skills to move forward, to have healthy lifestyles. Even from the nutritional side, when you start ingesting things along the process in your body, you might have a better chance of having better health outcomes when you get old like me. So these are the kind of things we're looking to do. And so far, we've been very successful. We had a lot of support, and we're grateful for all the opportunities that we've had thus far. And I'd like to take time out to say, once you look at the indoor labs, and we think you can get to these young children early, the sooner the better they take an interest in sustainability, the planet, and agriculture. Right now, we don't have a succession plan. The average age of a farmer in Pennsylvania is around 65. I don't want to be working like 65. I really don't. But I think Dr. Green might have other plans for me. What we're trying to do is start a succession plan now. We can have people who are better equipped to actually do some indoor ag, some outdoor ag. Agriculture is, I should say, the fastest growing business on the planet. It makes perfect sense. So we can teach people how to grow, launch businesses in agriculture. We'll keep people sustained, we'll keep families going, and we'll keep people fed. So I'm excited about the opportunities here. Chester Upper School District has been a great host and great partner. The collaboration has been amazing, and we're learning a lot about people, Chester, food, energy, and water. And I thank you all for your continued support. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is O'Neil Lattimore, and I am the founder of Eastern Hemp Company. I met Dr. Green at a cannabis business conference about 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And at that conference, her and I were the only people talking about industrial hemp as a building material, as a textile, as something other than what everybody looks at cannabis as. And from that moment on, we've just been locked. And so the 5 labs that she talked about earlier, those have been in partnership with Eastern Hemp Company. And what my background is agricultural systems design. So I was trained out on the West Coast in Northern California, Southern Oregon, and in the cannabis industry. Eastern Hemp Company was born out of a need that there was a lot of waste in the cannabis industry, a lot of stalks, a lot of dried material that would just get thrown away or rot in the field. I did some research. I realized this was an industry a long time ago. Mark was talking about some of the industry manufacturing that we used to have here in the States that is gone. Pennsylvania is one of the only states in this country that has a hemp field county. That means there's a hemp field county school district in this state, and there's no hemp production in that county. That's something that I feel we need to bring that back. With Eastern Hemp Company, I've been working with Amish farmers, I've been working with mushroom farmers out in Kennett Square, and together we've been building up the industry knowledge, at least when it comes to the hemp building. So my company has created some proprietary materials surrounding hemp and recycled plastic. As well, we're in partnership right now with some mushroom materials, taking that to some advanced material levels with Thomas Jefferson University. I've also been working with University of Virginia. Some people have heard of this new building construction technique is 3D printed houses. So that is perfect for inclusion of hempcrete. Absolutely perfect. Hempcrete is fire resistant, it's mold resistant, it's pest resistant. It grows 5 times, 10 times faster than our traditional timber. You can get 4 crops a year in certain parts of this country. That is what I've been focusing on. And together, by building these facilities, Think and Grow focuses on food, and Eastern Hemp can bring the materials side. So you'll see some of the hemp materials that we've put together. Some of the students have created some of the highest PLA hemp mixes of 3D printed filament in the state, right here in our lab. We have some examples of that. And I really want to get to the tour. So I'm going to be done talking right now. I appreciate you all coming, and I look forward to any questions that you have, and let's get this going. Thank you.
Would you like to give a few remarks before we hit the tour? Please do.
Dr. Green, thank you. Good morning, everybody. It is good to see you, Dr. Marcus, and thank you for the kind introduction and hosting here. We are on an urban ag tour, something we have done now for the last 6 years. And I have to tell you, every day, every stop is inspiring. We started this week in the heart of Pittsburgh with the Bhutanese community, all of them refugees, trying to assimilate to America and seeing what they're doing inside a fence with a garden. To bring that community together, to grow indigenous foods, to try to find their way in a new land. And truthfully, I could not understand what they were saying, but the common language of agriculture spoke loudly, right? It's pretty amazing. That is what we see. We get a chance to tour the state and look, and we know that there are folks who have been at this for a very long time. We are just lucky enough to witness it, to help celebrate that, to invest in it for the very first time. I'll talk a little bit about that. But that's the week, right? But those moments when you get a chance to see the very heart of a community is found in food. Right? It is the heart of the community. So when we're in a school, when we're with the administration and city council, and folks who understand that there is a lot that is on you as administrators and educators and parents and council and leaders. But part of that is to make sure that it's both the subject matter and the knowledge gain and the competency gain. It's also to have folks look at that future, right? As you talk about this journey, that's part of the journey. And when students leave here, we want them all to be inspired. I want them to look at their community differently as you do. Not just in terms of what's here, but what's possible. And as we look around the state, I mean, what we have discovered in urban agriculture is what is possible. And no matter what they do professionally as students and young leaders, they will be better citizens if they understand how they are fed, if they understand the value of a green space, if they understand the science as well as the civics of agriculture, they will be better people. We hope, by the way, that they are inspired to also be in agriculture in so many ways. It is not the traditional. I'm a traditional ag guy. I grew up in it, one of 11 children, still working in agriculture today. But I understand that word agriculture is a very big and complex word. It's complicated, right? Most of us, and I've done a lot of civic organizations where you ask folks to define agriculture, and they'll give you the traditional definition. And that is in one dimension. It is about production, right? And it looks like what we do in the landscapes of this region and around Pennsylvania. The truth is that is a piece, but it is not the full spectrum. It's about technology. It's innovation, it's supply chain, it is about food science. It is all of that allows us, by the way, to enjoy what we have on our plates for privilege if it's 3 times a day. That's not for everybody, and 10% of Pennsylvanians don't have that privilege. So all of that's inside the work that we're doing in agriculture. So we wanted to honor that. We started with Governor Wolf, and I'm pleased that Governor Shapiro has continued both the investment in what we do in agriculture and specifically urban agriculture, but also by way of his proclamation that this week is Urban Agriculture Week across Pennsylvania. And we will see by the time that we're done, all of these different dimensions, all of these pieces to include what you're doing here at Chester Upland. We'll get a chance to see the partners and the collaborators and those who are leaders and doers of ag, who are all focused on a really simple mission, and that is to make this community more resilient, to make our food system more resilient, to inspire people to think about the food system here in Pennsylvania, and to make sure that we are building to what Mark has noted, sort of those issues that we know we have to address. We know we have to. Right? We're pretty good today, but every time that I look around and think about where we are, both in terms of food production, when I think about the growth of our population on this planet, right? By the time the students from Chester Upland graduate, we will add another billion, almost 2 billion people to this planet. That's the equivalent of adding 2 Indias in the next 40 years. They will have the exact same expectation that you and I have. They have access to food, have access to water, have access to energy, and to be able to do that in a civil society. That's the expectation. How's that happening? Who's going to make that happen? That's us, right? Every single one of us. It happens in this school, it happens in these programs. It happens with thought leaders like Dr. Green, who has this vision for the possible and is pushing the boundaries, to be very honest with you. Right? But I think we have to push the boundaries. We're very comfortable where we are. But you know, in the city of Chester, you have issues, you have challenges. How do you get access to food? How do we do that? I want people to have access to the food and the pride that comes with it and feeding themselves. When we did the first tour, the only thing I could say was ooh and ah, right? Great work, keep it up. We couldn't put a nickel into a show. And today, we can't invest because of the Pennsylvania Farm Bill. We can put money into these communities, 119 projects in 19 counties across Pennsylvania. And they're simple in the sense that it can be a tool set and tools, or as complex as what we see and we'll see today. Like complicated systems. That's all inside what we have done in the urban agriculture grants. And inside the Farm Bill, and Mark noted this, that we are the only state in the nation with a state level farm bill. Only one. We have a federal farm bill that's frequently talked about, and most of us know that by way of the trade issues and energy and food and such. But PA is the only state in the nation with its own farm bill. That came about because of work that we did in looking at what is agriculture in Pennsylvania, who is agriculture, and where is agriculture. And that was the work that Temple University and Fox School of Business did. And we said to them, please look at industry, help us define it, help us quantify it. And then importantly, what does it need to stay here? Because it's not going to stay here just because you and I like it. It's going to take direct investment. What does that look like? So we did the economic assessment and the impact. We defined it. It's very robust. It captures, the traditional production all the way through to what we've got here in the Port of Philadelphia. Right? It's the shipping pieces and everything between those 2 points. But in addition to that, it was important for us to say, what do we need to do to invest in? And credit to our governor at the time, Governor Wolf, and the House and Senate in a bipartisan, bicameral way, invested in what we termed the PA Farm Bill. And it's got a lot of different pieces. I am most proud of the urban agriculture grants because it spoke directly to what we were seeing as evolution of ag, where we saw the workforce of the future being, what skills and competencies we needed, but also directly attack this question of what is agriculture. And to have it redefined by the projects and by the people is most gratifying. And to see now, several years on, that every one of those projects is making a difference. It's both the tangible of what they do, but I'm also particularly impressed and reminded with each tour, it's the intangible. Right? It's the things you cannot see that'll change. It's a relationship, it's the partnerships, the work that's being done, the pride that people feel in their community, and whether they are new Americans or folks who've been here for generations. That's what we see. We want to honor that, we want to celebrate that, we want to invest in it, and that is what this urban agriculture tour is about. And inside of this tour is the future. These are the folks who've got to figure out how do we feed the population that's going to grow another 2 billion people. How do you address the issues of energy? How do you address the concerns of water? And the very, very basic needs of food. I like to eat. Everybody like to eat? I'm with you, right? But we are reminded in a state that is as significant in production agriculture that over 10% of its population in Pennsylvania is food insecure. 10%. We're reminded that you cannot have a charitable food system without a food system that's charitable. It's producing, right? Whether it's in the shipping containers we'll see, in the new science in the fields of the counties around us. That is what this is about. So we're here to celebrate it. We're here to honor you for the work that you're doing. And thank you for bringing us into the school. This is where it happens. Right? You've got the same challenges that we have. How do you inspire? How do you build the skills? How do you have people feel like they can do this, right? Do it both in terms of life and do it in terms of science and tackle these big issues of our time. And agriculture is at the center of all of them. So thank you very much for hosting, for investing, and bringing. Thank you for the vision of the work. And I look forward to the tour as well. I'll end with, just because I'm at the podium, I'll give you Dr. Parkinson and Dr. Green, if you don't mind, and any of the board members who are here. I'd like to present this proclamation from Governor Shapiro to you, declaring this week as Urban Agriculture Week in Pennsylvania. And all of the whereases are things that we have talked about. Right. There's an important therefore. And the therefore is that this week, under Dr. Shapiro's hand, on this day, is declared the Urban Agriculture Week in Pennsylvania. So thank you for being part of that. Thank you for inspiring us with the work that you do and will do. We look forward to touring your work today. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, pleasure. Thank you. Hold it up, Dr. Thank you. Okay.
Jim, did you want Secretary Reynolds? Jim, did you want to come march real quick, or do you want to do this?
I saw that. Well, I'm going to say 30 seconds for the side. It's impossible to appreciate. So first of all, I just want to thank Secretary Redding, Jamie, Mark, Dr. Parkinson for doing this. Sometimes you have a vision and you see things, and very quickly I had a vision or saw something. I was up at a very prestigious school in Philadelphia, and it was tucked away off of Lincoln Drive. It's a private school, K to 12, and on that campus they had all kinds of laboratories, and they had all kinds of. When I went there, I was actually meeting with. I thought I was meeting with a senior class. I was meeting with middle school. And they were helping us to put together a robotics program. And then they took me over to the children's lab where they were doing 3K printing. They were doing 3D printing. And then they took me to the seniors that were making their own airplane, all within that school. And I kept saying, why not Chester? There was no difference in those children, in our children. It was simply that the opportunity hadn't been given to us. And so I am so thankful to Dr. Green for trusting us enough to say that our children are more than capable of doing the impossible. And when you talk about all the things that are about to happen in the earth, the fact that it can actually start here in Chester, and in 18 months it already has, is an incredible thing. And so my heart is so full that I don't know what to do at this particular moment. So let's go on the tour and let's enjoy all that is about to take place. And again, what Chester makes Chester. So whatever we make, we make.
Right, so the easiest thing to do is act like I'm the Pied Piper, and Dr. Parkinson, if you'd like to lead us to the lab, that would be awesome. That's right. Okay, so
This is kind of a new technique with this. It's called an ebb and flow system, and we're using hydrogen. And come on, Doc.
well, how do you want to go?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're gonna follow Doc.
All right, so what you're looking at is, this is called Agriculture Technology 101. And you're going to see a lot of homemade systems that O'Neill and I engineered together. But what's most important is that this is the way you conserve water while growing a variety of plants. This is not fully operational, only because we're in the summer months. But what we have the capacity to do, and you saw this on the back of the back of the little sheet I handed you, that can hold up to 3,000 plant starts between this system, which is called, now listen to me, a nutrient film technique. This is an NFT recirculating system. Do we get it? So this is a basic, really cool way. You see I'm propagating plants. Now for the children, when we talk to the children, I'll buy those 2 plants for $10 and tell them I can turn that into 100. Because by the time I repropagate those, I've now doubled or tripled the value of those, right? So we're never just talking about growing, this is a business. Am I right, Secretary Redding? This is a business. So this is the basic hydroponic. We only grow hydroponically in here. We do not do aquaponics, although it is an opportunity to grow aquatic animals is another side of economic development. I was just sharing, I was at a meeting in Reading Terminal. They wanted something called the Vanna White shrimp. They will buy that. There are no aquaponic systems that can feed that on the East Coast. So there are plenty of opportunities for economic development around building infrastructure. Everything you're looking at, you guys, basically is infrastructure to teach young people how to do something, right? And then something is grow. This, again, is hydroponics. This is another form of hydroponics. And as someone who's familiar with this really great institution called Delaware State University, this is called GeoAg. Now, you guys are gonna notice I'm a farmer because you're gonna see my nails are not done. Because I do stuff like this. Isn't that how we prove it? My nails are not done. What am I growing in, people? What is this?
Manure.
No, I wouldn't put my hand in manure. Who said that? This is nasty. This is gravel. This came out of Alabama A&M to show that in cities where the soil is toxic, we're going to talk about how we're going to teach kids how to clean the soil. Our first grant from the Department of Agriculture, you guys don't know the significance of it. Our first grant, and Secretary Redding didn't even know, was to use industrial hemp to clean soil. We used the same seeds that were used to clean Chernobyl. You understand what I'm saying? Industrial hemp, this is where I met the extraordinary O'Neill Latimer. We were talking about how to use hemp. So we use gravel and other particles. Do you all see this plant? Who recognizes this plant? What is this, you guys? Oh, the Southern moms in here. What is this?
They look like green.
Thank you. And Baron, my buddy Baron from the environmental. We just met, so we're part of the same sustainability campus, right? Talk about, tell them the name of your campus, your program.
The building out beyond the trailers, a couple of years ago, a little more than a year ago, we started an environmental youth corps working with kids to plant trees to, again, clean the air, seal to provide oxygen and shade the planet, cool the planet. So we're teaching kids how to do that in that building. And then she brings Dr. Green brings her campus here. So we're going to
We're all partnering around.
Yeah.
But do you all see this? What plant is this? Okay, I'm gonna get my app, my virtual reality app. This is a tomato. You see this? I'm about to hurt you all. But this is what the kid now.
Well, you can tell me.
Secretary,
Corn.
what was this? Well, listen, this corn was grown in this gravel. And so everything in here, the students that you saw, they grew all of this. We didn't do this. This is their plants too. From seed, they put this in. So all O'Neill and I have done is sort of nursed it, keep it alive. So I'm gonna share something with you. This is nutrition, this is nutrition, this is money. This is money. You understand? The strangest thing is that the nutritional food pays the least from a business standpoint. I make more money if I grow flowers in agriculture. So you have to have a balance of both if you're going to be in business. That's why when you go see the Ruth Bennett farm, I am so in love. They are amazing what they've done over there. So, isn't it gorgeous? Just gorgeous. So I just stumbled across. So as you can tell by now, it's all good. More is more, right? Chester could be the city for environmental sustainability instead of environmental injustice.
Wow.
There you
Turn
go.
this entire thing around. These children can do it. And we have our own Department of Ag that can help make that happen. yes, USDA qualifies this as a farm because I can grow stuff in here. And if I put 2 fish in here, it really becomes a farm. 2 fish or a chicken. I have to talk to you. Now, this plant is big money. How many of you use echinacea? That is this plant. All right, so I teach kids medicinally what you can do with plants, the manufacture. This is, O'Neill, you want to talk about the hydrogen? Or are you going outside?
I gotta get a guess.
Okay. This is another substrate. So what they're learning about is a different technology. All this is agriculture technology to grow inside as the planet changes until we clean the soil and get back outside. Mark, you want to talk about the microbes?
Microgreens. Microgreens are nutritional. A lot of people use these. Sometimes you see them in sprouts. Sometimes they're blended up in smoothies. It's a way to get a lot of your nutrients in your body. And the nice thing about microgreens is that you can grow them low intensity lights, not a whole lot of power, very little water. And once you cut the top off, you have your crop harvested and they start growing themselves. They just keep growing back. It's almost like an octopus's tentacle. You cut it off, it's going to come back. But the nice thing about these is that you can find nutrition here. And if you were to harvest these and have a few of these racks going, which don't take a lot of space, don't take a lot of soil, there's a business opportunity there. A lot of vegan, vegetarian, a lot of health conscious people have a very high demand for microgreens. So there's a lot of different pathways in the business for agriculturalists and agricultural students. So we're trying to show them and introduce them to different ways where farming is fun. You know, my grandfather had a farm in South Carolina. My father ran to Pennsylvania to get away from it. I ran even further to make sure I didn't go back down there and do any farming. And now I realize that this is a very, very important industry. And I'm really happy I'm here, right? So, you know, we're looking forward to the opportunity to train young people. And the one thing I've noticed now, I talk to children, teenagers now, and they'll say something about a phone or an app. And I look at them and say, with all sincerity, I've used a typewriter to payphone, you know, and I don't have the same tech dependency as the children do. But what we're learning is how to use sensors, program them, and make agriculture fun. So that there in turn has more interest. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the technological pieces a little further on down the tour. Thank you.
With the peppers.
Yep.
Companion planting.
So this is, if you can grow outside, you can grow inside. We can just, this is like, imagine you're going to Mars, right? And you have to be, you know, familiar with both of these. Now this, what you guys are looking at right here, this is kale. This had gone over, you guys. I was panicking yesterday. It was a hot mess. But I want you to show any household can do this. All this is, I'm gonna demystify this right now. Baby, you got to desacrifice.
No, don't tell the trade secrets.
That's a food grade bucket from Lowe's, a net pot off of Amazon, some of these clay, and this started again, one of the kids started this from seed. So this kale, and I tell the kids, when they come in, they're like, I'm like, is she crazy? I'm like, you can eat anything in here. But what happens is I put organic matter in here, and once you set the water in it, you forget it. It's passive hydroponic. Every household should have 2 or 3 buckets of food growing. There's no excuse anymore. $5, well, $7 now with supply chain issues. $7, $3, and some seeds. And you can grow at home. And look, she was gone. I put some organic fertilizer in her. She's fine now. So these are all of the different ways. Geoag, water-based, gravel-based. I don't know what we would classify it because it's not a soil. But it's a weird thing. And then to Mark's point, that's industrial hemp is the foundation for what we're growing those plants on, right? Again, it's non-THC. Everybody needs to get with the program that this plant can make a lot of things happen for a lot of people. Speaking of which, now we're looking at this way. Turn around this way, you guys. You are looking at our manufacturing side, right? This is where we take them from, you grow it. I can take those kale things and dehydrate them and to make kale chips, right? There are ways to do all of this. Now, this is a dehydrator. What we've done is dehydrators, freeze dryers, this is going. I was hoping your candy would be done. Everybody heard of the freeze-dried candy? This is not ready yet. Pastor Thomas, is that you?
This is me.
I didn't see you. The glasses are off.
Oh, okay.
Trying to be cute. It's good to see you,
I'm
sir.
here.
It's good to see you. So what is happening is this is where the magic also begins, where you understand that a crop is to eat and a crop is to be transformed to add value. So our business has, so you're seeing the green global, right? Our name, global. We transformed hemp, and I'm gonna stay with that for a minute only because it's nutritionally valid. This is our product that went live on Amazon Global last night, out of Pennsylvania. This was 6 months of work, you guys, to figure out how to transform a product into something that you could sell. And not just sell it, distribute it globally. So our United States Department of Ag, with help from, the help I got from Pennsylvania Department, I don't know how to tell you, Mike Roth, Cheryl Cook, those folks were astounded, sent us to South Africa. So we have all the resources we need in our own state to get around the world, to move our products around the world. This went live. We have 2 orders, one from Sierra Leone and one from South Africa already. Pallets, not these. Y'all can have these if you want to try them. I want you to take this because I know you're a dairy farmer. This is plant-based milk. And I have—
Use that M word.
What?
It's a plant-based beverage.
Oh, plant-based beverage. And what's important about this is it is extraordinarily important from a cognitive standpoint. Now, this is my cognitive psychologist training, right? Not my farmer training. Children cannot pay attention and stay on task if their brains are not fully developed. We created this as a way to increase their nutritional intake so they could retain knowledge. If we don't do this in the mornings, if we just made this into just milk in the morning and handed it out, I don't care if you use mine or anybody else's, we've got to get our children to improve their cognitive uptake. The nutritional value of what they're eating right now is poor. And I wanted, Barbara Harvell, did you want to say a few words? This is our business partner, Harvell Brown, right? And as soon as you want to give a word or make, what did he like?
While you talk, I'll get it ready.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Green. What Dr. Green said is so important here. This is plant-based protein, and the body doesn't have to work as hard to get the same nutrients as it would if it tried to get a steak, even beans. And our kids today are very, they have a big problem with all the junk and everything, and with this COVID. And I'd like to thank the superintendent and especially the board. I'm a member of the board of directors in Coatesville, and I'd like to really congratulate you guys on being ahead of the curve here. But this is going to revolutionize things. I turned my computer on the other day, and they're making food with a computer. If you think I'm lying, go on TikTok or any of them, and the government has approved how to make chicken, make steak, and they're even trying to make vegetables now. China's way ahead of us. So this is going to be one of the most important things, and Chester's going to be so far ahead of the curve on this thing. So really, congratulations and thank you guys so much.
I want you to lean back into all this water.
Oh, okay. And that's about all I can say. I just want you to understand just how important this is. And to the secretary, you're one of the first in the political realm that saw the handwriting on the wall. And thank you for coming down and really supporting us like you are, because this is going to be needed. This is going to be needed. Our maestro here is going to sort of mix drinks. And by the way, we have strawberries and bananas and even juice here that we mix with it, because what this does, it's an enabler. It goes into the body and starts repairing whatever it is that causes your body to resist diseases. So it's not something that cures a disease, it cures the body and makes it better. Just like rebuilding a motor in a car. Amen. This is what this does. Thank you.
when we grow food, sometimes we talk about farm to table. A lot of times things go from the farm and they're not properly stored and they spoil. We throw a lot of food away. There should be no reason a child in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania or United States of America goes to bed hungry. So what we do is we dehydrate and freeze dry food before it goes bad. It preserves it, extends the shelf life for up to a year. It still retains 98% of its nutrients. We can feed these children and not throw that food away. Food preservation is very important. Before you throw it away, freeze it and use it for a rainy day. Thank you very much.
This is Tristan Campbell. Tristan started as a volunteer from DCCC. Student worker?
Yeah.
Student worker from DCCC. So Tristan shows up and I'm not quite sure what Tristan wants to do. And we just figured out we would do something together around 3D printing. So what I'd like Tristan to do is talk about not only where he started, but what he's studying now. And then how he works in this space.
Okay. All right, so I started as a student at DCCC for mechanical engineering, but I eventually switched over to biomedical engineering to go into a subclass of neural engineering, which is kind of work with brain-computer interfaces. So it's able to connect thoughts to computers. And I have a lot of experience with 3D modeling. So I came in here with a couple skills and I learned how to work with the 3D printers to repair parts for all our hydroponic systems. I've developed some end caps for this NFT system right here to kind of stop outflow of water at the back ends and the front ends. I've made little cups to hold the plants so that they don't.
Excellent cups. Excellent technology. Actually, look at what he made. I think I have it. All right, see this? Uh-oh. This stops. So Tristan, we had a problem, and Tristan decided this is what I normally was buying because of supply chain. Doesn't fit in the system. Tristan went through and designed one that could fit in the system to support these plants. Now, what plant is this? I'm gonna start getting y'all. This is thyme. Money up here, money on here. The greens are no money. Just keep remembering that. But Tristan, what else did you make that's special?
What did I make? I don't know. There's a couple things.
Where is the thing you made?
Oh, that's the thing. I made, I guess, little nameplates with the Think and Grow Farms and Department of Agriculture for Pennsylvania.
Nice.
We are.
So this is for you. It's not over $2 in value.
Very important. We are.
Thank you.
And we're gonna actually do one that has the Chester Upland School District on them.
Very nice.
So,
Kristen, very nice.
so thank you. No, stand next to each other. That's a tandem.
Yeah, right.
Come your way.
It's like in the background. I was like, no.
There you go. You have to hold it out.
This is so cool. We were trying to make them out of hemp, but
That's the next move.
isn't that cool? That's the next one.
You'll do it.
So, do you guys want to go outside and see the two containers?
Yeah.
Ready?
All right.
The growing lab is here on the right. We have an hydroponic growing system on the right. Under the blue tarp is the HVAC unit for the learning classroom. You can see the handicap accessible door on it. That way we can have children in wheelchairs go into the lab and learn as well.
You see terrariums. Put together.
Providers, yeah.
So this is for any community group that again can't have access to the school. We can accommodate actually up to 20 kids at a time. This is recirculating NFT system. This we can grow strawberries on this, so that's the plan. We'll have to show them to grow inside. But again, lots of kids, thanks to the Department of Ag, enough to work with. And again, an entire class up to I think grade 8 can come in here. And then if we need to train adults, we can do 5 to 8 people at a time. Water sampling, soil sampling, how to set up, how to develop a farm, all of that can be done out here.
So what is the relationship between what we saw in the lab and here?
It's almost identical, except this is upgraded for, I can bring more technologies in here that I can't
Okay, but they're gonna just complement the.
They're complementary.
So it's not like a.
No, they're not standalone. Separate entities.
So
Yeah.
any child who comes in here would be seeing, for the most part, the same thing that you see inside.
Yeah.
But if it's an after-school program, they can come here.
Okay.
Boys and girls clubs can come in here.
Yeah.
So again, we're gonna finish setting this up. All the stations are set, all the equipment is here. I just don't wanna put everything out while we're shutting it down for the summer.
This is a climate controlled area. It's a huge heat exchanger and air conditioning unit outside. We're not going to put that on the runner now for obvious reasons
Yeah.
because it's going to it's a low energy, 320 square feet of learning. A child can come in here and just immerse himself in something they've never seen before, and it's just 320 square feet of an old shipping container that's probably been all around the world. So it's a cool concept. There's a lot of fun doing them and designing them and just watching the looks on the children's faces.
You guys don't get the grass under your feet?
No.
So I want to
They're
show
trying
you
to save water, so we put this grass
Okay,
together.
So how do the students find their way here? I mean, what is
So
there?
what will happen is they would sign up for a session with the person who's the lab manager for the lab,
Okay.
and we'll schedule times. Mostly I see this on Saturdays and like a couple times a week.
Okay.
But I really see this for the moms who want to come out. If I wanted to train somebody on how to put buckets together like we just did,
Touch bucket systems.
they'll sign up and we're going to have a set number of workshops available. So you're going to see the thing. This is something I wanted to really point out. On every single one of these opportunities, do you see the word teacher? Teacher, teacher.
Yeah.
All of these are opportunities. We need more teachers. There's no question, and Dr. Parkinson can speak to that.
Everywhere.
And
Talk about that a lot.
so each station, we're going to have a session for each station. But I think this is where we start to talk about the broad opportunity. So when Chairman Mao said yesterday that everybody doesn't have to go, I forgot, everyone doesn't have to go to college, we actually do need some to go.
Yeah.
Not everybody, we just need some.
But
Yeah.
You get it?
we need some help. Yeah.
And then we're gonna work on more, as I was sharing with if we could build a biodigester out here and do a different energy plan, I would love to do that. Dr. Parkinson, we're gonna have to get Pico's messing with us. So, but we're gonna show the other side. I see that
Okay,
clock,
so-
because you're gonna have to go. Luckily, Bennett
we're
is only
5 minutes down the road.
Exactly.
So we're okay, but yeah.
We're gonna have to
Yeah,
get
the nice thing is it's an off-grid solution. You know?
Yeah.
We're not straining the existing grid and the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Being dependent upon.
a temporary thing.
There's a storm. Sometimes you're in the emergency.
Hey, you're.
You can be in the emergency for a matter of days.
Got it.
You know, so this is a lot of fun putting together.
All right, very good. Thank you, Dave.
Joe the way.
We're gonna look at your.
Marauders.
Oh, okay.
My man.
No,
This is the.
Millersville University.
Marauders.
Okay.
Marauders.
Oh, okay, you said Marauders. Okay, yeah.
It's a farm.
Yeah.
This is the you saw inside. We took this apart and built inside, and we built this back again. So this is just a fully recirculating system, same type of deal. We have the manifolds there. We have all of our full tanks down underneath, and this system here, from total, is 5,800 plants, I believe. That
We can do enough strawberry plants in here.
yeah, well, we're
be
what I
able to
can envision
dehydrate.
is strawberries and then saffron. That is my vision.
High
for
value
this
crops.
content. High value
And
crops.
then you're gonna sell them, you're gonna process them, or? Okay.
We'll also use it in our products.
In
The,
the products,
the nutritional value of saffron is off the charts. And I think that's something that we can just add back into one of our daily products that we
I've grown
do.
that before in the shipping container. People thought it couldn't be done. So there are a lot of things, I'm not an agronomist,
Yeah.
but I do know high value in places like this, we can put a lot of crops in spaces inside of City of Chester. We can have an entire farm that's indoor, outdoor. We need a half-acre greenhouse out here. We can do it. I hate to say it, we can do one of the Asian greenhouses off the back of these two things and just build them so there's a greenhouse sitting here. So this is the really strong foundation for a complete farm operation. And it can be profitable. It can be profitable. So I think that this is the next step, is how to generate the revenue to make this sustainable for you. And that was the dream, that you know, we could do
Definitely
it.
dream. There's a freight farm in Pittsburgh we looked at on Monday, right? Run by from across right with it. It's a full-size freight container, amazing,
I've seen
right?
it.
You see them?
I've seen
And
it.
they're doing the commercial side, right? They've got some work to do, but it's pretty amazing.
I've seen 10 of them linked together in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They can't make the money because of the energy.
Yeah, it's an energy issue. That's their
That's
biggest
the
challenge.
energy issue.
Yeah. $600 a month.
Got that generator going out there, that's gas.
Exactly.
It's
That's
hard.
what I said. If you,
Yeah, it's hard to sustain that.
Yeah.
It's a very, so there are ways to get around it. There's also less expensive. So Imhotep in Philadelphia, there's 4 schools that bought those freight farms out of their ESSER money, $200,000 a box.
Well,
And he's still got
We can do better than that.
yeah.
We found the actual manufacturers. The guy from Harrisburg now lives in Las Vegas and sells the stuff. He said you can equip the inside of these things for $50,000. If we decide you want to do a campus like that, that's where we talk to your support to EDA. If we do that kind of relationship, EDA will invest in the infrastructure to put these all over the Commonwealth. So I heard that conversation too. So these are relations.
Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it? Yep. Okay.
There's no route.
Okay, well, one go. 3-2. 3-2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.